everyone. We're going to do our initial pasture walk video of the Silvopasture. So this is year 3 of the pigs, year 2 of the Silvopasture project. Year 3 of the pigs in any real quantity. The first year we had 6 pigs, but they didn't really have a chance to make a difference. This is the home base area of last year. You can still see the pig shelters there. We won't be using those this year. We're going to use calf shelters as a little bit more of a permanent solution. You can see the grass starting to recover. Remember, this was pure mud in October, and we're only just now at the end of March. So that's all overwinter growth. It's actually pretty impressive. We had some serious snow, which brought down a lot of saplings, brought down a lot of dead limbs from up in the trees. That was the last feeding spot of last year, so the feeder was located there in October. You can see that's pretty trampled and has not recovered, even though it was seeded. Mostly, I think, a compaction issue in that one small area. This year I'm going to try moving the feeder even more frequently to avoid things like that. I'll revisit this in about a month, and I expect it'll be similar to this. You know, given a little more recovery time and some warmer spring weather. You can see a lot of the pasture. That's paddock 4 from last year, and it's greening up very nicely. Right there is the fence line, if you can see up between the trees. I've been trying to disadvantage the multiflora rows so that grass can grow where it was. I've been having some success. Got some new chestnut plantings there. That'll be a fence line this year. I'm going to continue to create pods of forage trees like this. This can tie easily into the fence. I have 3 here planted at 10-foot spacing. I'm going to try much more dense spacing. Every 1 to 2 feet I'm going to put a tree, let them grow, and then eliminate the ones that, you know, aren't doing the best, and keep the best trees, so that I get a pretty dense planting still, coppice everything at about head height, and I'll be able to drop forage for the pigs in years to come. I've been dropping a lot of the maples as part of the canopy thinning. Here's some remnants of that. Running water down to the woods was an exceptional idea. I'm very glad I did it. It's come in handy. I've been getting a lot of sawdust from a local cabinetry shop that I've been using in the muddier areas to try and build soil and cut down on the swamp. Get that water. The water's still flowing through the land. It'll just flow below. Hopefully this will become much more walkable. These white stakes are going to be where home base is this year. So this is 32 foot on each side of a square. I got to move some of these dead trees out from inside of it. And drop a few of these, like those 2 maples are going to go. I'm going to keep the blue one. And then this will be where the calf shelters go and the feeder initially. While the piglets get used to electric fence. The piglets will be here in 2 to 3 weeks. They were born about 5 weeks ago. Then paddock 1 will be up in this area. Again, I'm going to thin some of these maples, but you can still see quite a bit of forage here, and in the coming weeks this will be even better. Lots of edibles, lots of grasses. They have a pre-made wallow from last year's pigs, which I'm sure they'll make quick use of, and hopefully not make a second one. That way I can develop kind of a permanent water or pond system that they can wallow in. But they'll go up into here, hopefully bust up some of these dead logs. I'll thin out the rose bushes behind them, and then next year we'll have even more grass growing. Hopefully in years to come I can get cows down in here. So sorry about the sun. You can get a better view of how green it is. Compare this to last year's videos at the end of the season, and you can see the incredible difference the pigs make on the woods. So that's paddock 1, and then if we look to the west here, paddocks 2 and 3 will go in that direction all the way up to the edge of the woods, and then paddocks 4, and if needed paddock 5 will be down in this area. This area is much less grassy and much more rose bushes and swamp. So I'm gonna move the pigs in there in their later months of life when they're 200-300 pounds, and they'll be able to do a lot of destruction down in here, which is exactly what I want. Then I'll drop a lot of these maples and plant pasture mix, and this will green up just like what we left behind us there. So this will be the edge of paddock 4, just for reference for later. You can see this is all, nothing's growing on the ground, all rose bushes. Look at them all. There's got to be a 1/4 acre of multiflora rose here. The bamboo's starting to encroach. We didn't have bamboo here last year. Now, well, we did at the end of last year, but it's spreading. The pigs will rip all that up, and then I will beat it back to keep the bamboo over there where it belongs. Still nice deer habitat, but I don't want it taking over the whole woods. The pigs will eat the bamboo leaves, so will the cows, but they don't, I'm going to say they don't really prefer it. They eat it when there's less desirable forage available. So the pigs will get down in here. You can see this natural stream that kind of runs through the area. Again, this was paddock 1 and 5 last year, but it's not very well recovered because the pigs finished here and all it had was winter time, and we don't get any sunlight because the canopy's so thick. So a lot of these trees are coming down in the very near future. Open this canopy up, get the sun down, and get the pasture mix growing. Obviously we have plenty of water. And I'm going to extend this paddock a little longer and a little more narrow down into this where the pigs have never been, and let them start, as they're adults, let them start busting all this up. A lot of dead ash trees on the ground, they can nose them around and rip out some of that mile a minute. That'll definitely be in full flush here when we get the pigs in this area. So we should be able to turn all this into usable pasture, and then they'll finish over there where I showed those chestnut plantings. Again, I look forward to referencing this video later in the season to see the difference the pigs make on this thickness. This will be nicely beat down, and we'll be able to get lots of pasture mix on the ground before winter comes. So that's about it. I'm excited to get the pigs in here this year and demonstrate what an impressive difference they can make on otherwise wasted woods.